You may be wondering why I'm hiding on top of my cabinets. I've been reading accounts of people residing in the most curious places recently. Living in someone else's house without their knowledge may be a great way to save on rent costs, but it can also be a little terrifying for everyone involved. Today I wanted to share with you some of the most mischievous cases of substandard living I could find. And with that being said, allons-y, mon ami.
He's crazy. Lock him up. Throw away the key, that's what I say.
A lanky crack fiend, the last thing you want hiding inside your walls. But as it turns out, it might be what you get. Now I'm no stranger to almost being homeless. I can't afford a cup of Starbucks. But aside from claustrophobia, trespassing laws, and common decency, someone's walls, attic, or basement aren't the worst place you could live. Free food, heat, life. If you're anything like me, not likely, you avoid social interaction like the plague, so you're already partly ready to start your life as an infamous wall crawler that could give Spider-Man a run for his money. But hey, if you want to live that flat Stanley lifestyle, you might want to read up on some of the most notorious flatmates. Only problem is, reading is boring, and not everyone has the free time to meticulously sort through fact and fiction. Lucky for you, in an anomalous twist of fate, I'm here to save the day. Yes, it's true, I, the arch-villain, have decided to graciously enlighten the dregs of society with my knowledge.
Human condition, but nobody mentioned the eyes, the eyes, the eyes, the eyes. Human condition, but nobody mentioned the eyes.
Now, earlier I teased you with a little bit of UK dialect. Very fitting, considering this first story comes from a news source across the pond and inside the AC. I was either too lazy or too inept to find police reports, but most sources seem to regard Grady Hendrix as a reliable storyteller. While his modus operandi is creating fiction, it's easy to see why he developed a predilection for horror when, considering as a mere 9-year-old, he allegedly bore witness to something truly unspeakable. All Hallows Eve, getting away with crime is as easy as taking candy from a trick-or-treater, and people celebrate fear like the masochistic giga-chads they are. In concordance with the festivities, Grady took to Twitter, regaling his followers with the events of May 1981. Just as many antagonistic residents taking cues from Edgar Allan Poe pine for a little nip of illicit substances, adolescents like Grady yearn for a few extra snacks. And once he realized a nocturnal setting provided him with the perfect opportunity to fetch some food, he seized the night. Hendrix, like myself, is a true showman, but I'll try not to hold it against him. He spares no detail. I saw him, a skinny guy, eating our leftovers and drinking our milk from the carton. Not sure where to put this on my getting disturbed by people drinking milk tier list. Probably higher than Luke Skywalker, but lower than Homelander, because I have too much in common with Homelander when it comes to fetishistic deviancy, and that makes it uncomfortable. Grady, of course, went to his parents, who were lucky enough to not catch a glimpse of a malnourished, insane homeless without the M-looking motherfucker indulging in their dairy. As days went by, GH noticed things out of place in the kitchen, and he slept with a steak knife. And believe me, I've seen my fair share of people sleeping with steak knives. Oh wait, he slept with it? Like under the pillow? Not... Okay, yeah, I thought we were talking about something else. Anyway, he did get stabbed with it on accident a couple of times, but hey, if I had a nickel for every time I got stabbed, I wouldn't be living in poverty. The most unsettling fact of the story is this lone psycho vagabond set up camp just above Guardy's AC vent, allowing him to catch a glimpse of those wild, depraved eyes. No matter what he said, his parents remained skeptical. It was only after the smell radiating from the AC tipped off everyone residing in the horrifying house that they finally found evidence of the dastardly doe's inconspicuous inhabitation. That evidence was a corpse, garnished with maggots for flair, AC cooled, with a side of frequent nightmares. The man was never identified, but I suppose the John Doe was just suffering from a desperation, a product of the human condition. Just don't mention the eyes. Now, the content of this story almost feels too grandiose to be reality, but hey, I guess sometimes it's hard to tell reality apart from fiction. Welcome to my world. Our next story is about Joe Cummings, because of course it is. New York, New York! Eric Andre, Broadway, and a bad day for anyone less financially stable than Patrick Bateman. If you haven't seen the footage for this next clip I'm about to show here, you gotta explain why you're watching this right now. I mean, sickeningly disturbed fascination is the only reason you would click on this video, and anyone who matches that description will have definitely seen this next clip. As you can tell, the man's not too stoked about having an apparition looking like she's gonna meet the mortician, causing superstition, needing the acquisition of Christ living in his cupboards. Not too much to say about this one. The guy called the cops, person was removed, end of story. A little interesting detail about the abode is it's located on the top floor, only accessible by fire escape. So not only are we dealing with an intruder, we're dealing with Sadako from The Ring. I just hope she doesn't get stuck in the TV. Now, as I always say, it's not a party until somebody gets gutted. So I made sure to find at least one instance of a real interior living situation that had a not-so-happy ending. In fact, unhappy ending may be a bit of an understatement, because we're talking about Danny LaPlante. LaPlante? Why don't good girls like psycho killers? Qu'est-ce que c'est? Well, it could be the title of Danny's autobiography. You know the story, Danny LaPlante, he was just 14 when his parents did something real obscene. He saw a world most haven't seen. He's gonna catch 'em all. And catch he did. catch feelings, that is, for a girl who ghosted him. How ironic. Danny didn't take this too well. He wanted his own Sam Mason. I ship it. So, he did what any sane, rational person would do and hid in a little built-in cabinet with a secret crawl space. Now, Danny was one theatrical, wacky son of a gun. His daily regimen included moving furniture around, convincing the family he was a spirit of a dead relative, writing, "I'm in your room, come find me," on a mirror in ketchup. I mean, if you ask me, that's pretty pathetic. A real Spectre would have committed to the part and used real blood, but what would Danny know about dramaturgy? He was eventually found out, and by that I mean found standing in the bedroom dressed in the family's clothes, more specifically the mother's dress holding a hatchet. Don't know what it is about serial killers and cross-dressing, but if you want to see more mentally ill loners cross-dressing, check out my Instagram. It's, Astolfo outfits and Monster Energy drinks all the way down. Surprisingly, the family didn't manage to catch him at this point, likely due to Danny going ghost and slipping into the walls, but the police were more thorough and managed to prevent his escape. The murders actually happened quite some time later when Danny was free from police captivity. He decided to use this glorious opportunity to drown 2 kids, shoot a mother twice, and do unspeakable things with the mother. Goes to show, the only thing more dangerous than guns and bullets is an unsound mind and the sting of isolation.
You don't feel what we feel, and it's evident that you shoot too cute, 'cause you know you get away with it.
Now that last one was a little bit dark, so I thought we'd finish off on a happy note. Now, every once in a while, it's nice to see a fellow supervillain out there thriving. This crook with a heart of gold wanted nothing more than to spend a little time with his new family under the guise of a humble churchgoer. And, well, steal from anyone and everyone he could, but hey, we all have our faults. Jeffrey Manchester was the first inmate to escape his prison, dodging a 45-year sentence by hiding in the laundry. Now, I thought today's theme was going to be people hiding in walls, but apparently it's people acting like ghosts, wearing sheets over their heads and haunting people in more ways than one. Like me, Jeff was meticulous. He told anyone who asked he had a secret government job he couldn't talk about while he pilfered the stock at a local Toys R Us. Now, if I were in Jeff's likely old and raggedy shoes, I would have picked a better venue for a secret lair, but lucky for him, he was able to tunnel his way into the nearby Circuit City, and there he was able to fashion a den out of drywall and furnish it with posters, figurines, and a nice DVD player. The man may have been smart enough to escape prison, but certainly didn't have the capacity for scheming, because of all the places he could steal from, he chose the very store he was staying in. Knowing he wouldn't pass a background check, he stole a gun, then planned for a big break. Police came after 2 employees escaped, and they found themselves following Manchester into his makeshift living quarters. Needless to say, that was the end for our exciting antagonist, but some say if you listen real close to the walls of a probably now closed Toys R Us, you can still faintly hear Ocean's 11 playing on a stolen DVD player. Well, that's it. Finito la fin. I know I said the next video would be about religion. I promise that's coming, but maybe I was afraid to get bullied by Christians, or lazy, I don't know. Find out next time, and remember, the monsters are already among us. Stay tuned, keep your peepers peeled, and au revoir.